Assalamu alaikum, family. You are tuned in to the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad channel, and we're going to be talking this morning on the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks about tweaking how we view life and the very simple law of assumption. So grab you a cup of something hot and come on in, tell a friend, and while you're waiting during these commercials, make sure you like and subscribe.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum and happy Saturday morning to each and every one of you. Welcome to the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talk, where we talk about life, love, and business. I hope y'all doing okay. Thank you all for the great feedback about yesterday's show. I really appreciate it. And God willing, today will be equally as impactful. Normally, when I get these downloads about what I should talk about, it's because it's something that somebody needs to hear, or sometimes it's something that me myself that I need to hear. So I wanted to talk today about life. Again, you guys give me great feedback when I'm coaching, consulting you guys, because I start to really see sometimes how we view things and how we view life is interesting, right? It's very interesting. So welcome to you all in the chat. Happy Saturday, Mother. She says happy Saturday to everyone. Brother Lamont, good morning. Walaikum salam, sir, and happy Saturday. Sister Betty, happy Saturday. Keenex Robinson says salams, everyone. Sister Monica says great day, and she gives me the greetings, which I return. Walaikum salam. And she gives you all the greetings as well. Okay, thank you for that. Sister Dawn says good morning and assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, I got my makeup on today, Keen. Got my makeup on today. Although my makeup is probably not what real makeup people call makeup, because it's just pencil, eyebrow pencil, and then powder and a little lip gloss. But to me, that's makeup. That I got my makeup on today. I don't usually do too much more than that. I don't have like any rouge, and people wear their cheeks and stuff. Some people do it really beautifully, but it's just not something that I've done. A funny story, when I was doing my photo shoot for this book right here, the one that's over my head, I paid this lady. She came to my house. She made my face up with all this stuff on it. And I took like the first set of pictures, and I was like, I do not like that. It just looks so caked on, and I didn't like the colored lips and all of that. And I went in the bathroom and washed my face and did my usual. And that's what became the cover of the book and the rest of the photo shoot. So that's just, that's just who I am, how I do it. One of those things, right? Since I've been losing weight, my face is getting a little skinny. So I put a little extra powder like up in here. You know how it is until you adjust. Just into your new body, if I guess you could call it. But anyway, let's talk about life. And I want to talk about our mind and our mindset when it comes to life. Many of us are challenged when it comes to opening our businesses, or even getting past certain hurdles to get to where we can open the business. We're challenged, and rightfully so. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be challenged. A lot of us are dealing with trauma. You don't live here in America without having dealt with some form of trauma, especially for those of us that are African Americans. We know we have a history of trauma in this country, and we've just been stringing traumas together our entire time in this country. We've converted those traumas in many cases into very beautiful, creative ideas. We must be, you know how they say that stress can help to release the your own natural stem cells in your bone marrow, from your bone marrow. We must be releasing that, because a lot of us look extremely well. We're beautiful. I was looking at a woman on television the other day. She was 90 years old. She was jogging. I mean, we really got it going on, considering the amount of trauma that we've been through. But unfortunately, for many of us, we are in a reality loop. Type that in the chat. Many of us are in a reality loop. Just type reality loop. And the reality loop is because of the mental loop and the way we keep rehashing and regurgitating the same things over and over again. You know how some of us keep dating the same man or the same woman, or we keep making the same amount of money. Um, it's a reality loop that we're in. We keep going through the same thing over and over again. A lot of that is because of how we see the world. And how we see the world actually dictates our experiences in the world and how the world comes back to us. Think about that. Why is that important? Because if you see the world as a struggle, then that's what you're going to get out of the world, is you're going to pick out the struggle. If you see it as beautiful, then you're going to have beautiful experiences. If you see it as racist and difficult, then you really, really, really don't have to look hard to find that in the country. Now, let's talk about reality. A lot of us are in that reality loop because we're like, look, I'm just a realist. I'm just dealing with the world as it comes. And this is my reality. We got to be a little bit more deliberate than that. I'll use myself as an example. I pretty much walk around under the assumption that what God wants from me, I am going to have, under the knowing, under the assumption of that. I'm pretty confident as I navigate through, even though sometimes things may get tough. And when I get in my head and start thinking about reality, that's when I get stressed out. If, obviously, if you don't think about reality, you don't get stressed out. But let me give you an example. And this might embarrass Mom a little bit, but she'll be all right. So I remember I was very advanced for my age. I was reading. I just always remember knowing how to read. I understood how to spell. Sometimes Mom would be talking to people, other adults, and she would spell. And I'd be sitting there going, why is she spelling that? Because I already know how to spell. I already know what she's saying. And so by the time I went to kindergarten, I think it was, we walked to school. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. We went to, did we walk to Long School? Kindergarten, I went to a school called Long School, and we walked there. And I went to Long in kindergarten, and I walked there with my cousins, Tanya and Pee Wee. Pee Wee has since been, he was actually murdered in the street. So Pee Wee is no longer with us, but we used to walk to school. My brother was too little to go to school, but we walked to Long School. And we would leave from my Aunt May May's house, and she's like my cousin Aunt May May. Y'all know how Black families are, right? But May May is Tanya and Pee Wee's mother. And so we would walk from there, and my mother, the one instruction she gave me was, if somebody hits you, you better hit them back. And I remember us walking to school, and my mom had dropped me off, and we were getting ready to walk down the street to go to the school. And my mom came driving past in her car, and she said, don't forget what I told you. If somebody hits you, you better hit them back. And I remember thinking to myself, now, why am I going to this place where somebody going to be hitting me? This is my little grown logic, right? Like, I just didn't understand that. I couldn't reconcile why somebody would be hitting me at school. So I didn't think nothing of it. So I went to school, and I was very advanced for my age. I remember coming home and telling my grandmother that, I remember telling my grandmother, she said, how was school? I said, man, I don't like this place. These kids can't read. And she just thought that was so funny because I remember them sitting there with these little books like Dr. Seuss and all of that. And I was just looking like, this is really boring because I already know how to do that. And so I just remember kind of just sitting there and not liking the school. And I just kind of be in my head most of the day. I started reading books about adventures outside the country. I started loving world history because I was bored in school. And, we'd walk back home and every day mom would say, look, somebody hit you, you better hit them back. And I dealt with controversy, obviously growing up and going to white schools. You've been called the N-word constantly, or people always, we learn to recognize racism very, very early. And I actually think that was a blessing for me because I recognized it so early. It just existed and I didn't really care about it. It wasn't even a part of my reality. I've never assumed that racism was going to impact me, although I'm sure it has. But it was something that was introduced so early that I was just like, okay, it's whatever. Because my mental capacity, I felt, could overcome that. I felt like it was very stupid and very dumb. This is just my little child logic. And that's how I started to see the world. People who are racist are really stupid and really dumb, and I'm smarter than them. That's how I saw the world. And mom said, anybody hit you, hit them back. My dad was always repeating, you smart, can't nobody outthink you. He would say it, but mom would give me the books and she would operate with the assumption in her mind, like, you got this, So I told you all, bringing home like workbooks that were 2 or 3 grades higher than what I was in, or, she just assumed that I could do them. She never even asked me, like, I wonder if she can do this. She just brought me the workbooks and I did them. But my father would verbalize that. And my mother would take action, but then she would also tell us, somebody hit you, hit them back. And I remember probably wasn't until about in the 7th grade. I was a little younger than the other 7th graders, or one of those schools I was at. I was at a lot of different schools, but one of those schools I was at, I was younger than most of the people in the grade that I was in, because they had me in this mixed upgraded class thing. And I remember this boy, I had a series of a couple of fights that started. I don't even know why they was fighting me, because I didn't even think I was cute. I had glasses, and back then, when you wore thick glasses, they didn't shave them down. They didn't have the technology now where they can make your glasses really thin. My glasses was thick, about that thick. So when you looked at the side of my glasses, you saw the frame, and then you saw glass. So, and then you could see like the rings inside. So I don't even know why they was fighting me. It wasn't like I was cute. I was going to take their boyfriend or nothing like that. I don't know what they was doing, but what I did know, my mojo was my ability to read and that I was smart. I'm just giving you a view of how you see the world, because the world gives you back how you see it. So what I thought was, when I put my intelligence out there, I get these things back. And I always felt like I knew how to conduct myself. I've always been a big person on how you treat people. That's why when I became a Muslim, it was not difficult for me to go, okay, no backbiting, no slander, none of that. I was easy. It was easy for me to do that because I'd gone to etiquette school. I'd gone to charm classes. I knew how to eat at a table. I was advanced in that. But I remember this girl, her friend had jumped me and hit me on the way home. And when my stepbrother, Lil John, is no joke. If y'all know him, he's John Nair Jr. Stepbrother, but that's my brother. He's no freaking joke. And you don't play with Lil John. And he ain't never played about his little sister. And my father used to always tell him, walk her home, make sure she okay. I didn't go nowhere pretty much without the boys with me. I never ventured off by myself or went places by myself without usually either my brother Kevin with me or my brother John, either Lil John or Kevin or both. And so the girl had hit me, and I got home. I told my father, but now I'm thinking. So my father's response was, tell Lil John, walk her home from school every day. My mother's response, I told your ass if somebody hit you, hit them back. So now I'm thinking to myself, oh, so we got to have a different view of the world. So now I got to go to school and show these people that I can fight so they won't be messing with me. So, I told Lil John, I said the next day, I think my mother might have told me to go to school the next day and beat the girl up, to be honest with y'all. So Lil John came with me, and we walking home, and I wore that girl out. I could fight. There was no problem. We was always athletic growing up, but I just didn't want to. So the way I see the world is, you fight with those who fight with you. I don't walk around starting stuff with people, fussing with people, acting a certain way towards people. But if you bring the noise, I'm gonna bring it back. You're gonna have a real problem on your hand. She found that out real easily. And I was exceptionally angry, because what she was fighting me for was because her boyfriend had lied and said that he had walked me home from school and came in the house and got some hot chocolate, and that we was kissing. Now, look, I done told y'all that Lil John and Kevin is with me the whole time. I can't have no boyfriend. Can't no boys call the house. I was so mad. I said, then she gonna lie on me? And mind you, I'm the four-eyed girl who want a little boyfriend that can't get a boyfriend. And then, she was cute and light-skinned and had long hair and everything. And I'm four-eyed. I had good, nice hair, but I had the big glasses. Man, I wore that girl out. She never looked my way ever again. It was so bad that I thought I was going to get suspended the next day in school. And when they called me in, the principal just looked at me like, damn, I didn't know that was in you. And then that was it. It was the rest of it. My point is, based on that reality, that situation, I had to change how I saw the world. And so, but from that point, I didn't walk around seeing the world like I got to beat somebody up, I got to fight them. I wasn't constantly fussing in my head. And I come from a family of fighters. You heard me mention my Aunt May May and my mother and them. They don't play. You don't mess with them. You don't mess with them. I never think I could fight like them, but I knew I could fight. But the point that I'm making is, some of us are in a reality loop because we see the world as a result of a situation or circumstance, and we're always including that in our reality. We're always assuming that that's going to happen again. So once I had those couple of fights, I didn't walk around thinking, okay, the next person is just somebody getting ready to do it to me. And that became my world. I went right back into my own little la-la land. And I knew that if somebody messed with me, I knew I could defend myself. And I'm that way today. But I don't walk around fussing in my head. Why is that important? Because everybody talks to themselves. If you say you don't, you're lying. You either talk to yourself out loud or you talk to yourself in your head. And most of us are always fussing in our head. We are always complaining in our brain. It's somebody we don't like, somebody we go to church with, somebody at the mosque who mess with us, somebody at work who bullies us or got something to say. And we cannot wait to get in our head and tell them off in our head, to fight with them in our head. Probably because we had one or two incidents with them. We made a monster out of that person. And what that does, it keeps us in a vibrational loop, a reality loop that we have a difficult time getting out of. We talk on the phone and we talk about what we're afraid of and what we're worried about. We get off the phone. We never really take the time to put some laser focus thought on what it is that we want. And so we misuse what they call the law of assumption. And the law of assumption is simply that whatever it is that you want, or whatever reality that you desire, or whatever goals that you have, whether it's your business or your personal life, you assume that it's going to happen and that it has already happened. How do you do that? You assume the position. We talked about that in manifestation class, right? So we just assume vibrationally that it's happened. Now, this is different from being a strategist. I get together with my friends, Sister Aletha and I do it, different friends. We talk strategy, about business, about different people, about things in our life that we know we have to strategize against. But once you strategize, you create the strategy, you see yourself winning, you're in the vibrational space where you know what it feels like to win, you move on. And you use the law of assumption to put that focus on what it is that you want. Let me get you a definition here. Y'all all right? Let me know in the chat. Give me some feedback if y'all all right. Because I know we kind of went around the mulberry bush, but I wanted you guys to see how somebody was saying to me, like somebody influential in my life, like my mother saying, if somebody hit you, hit them back. I didn't make that my world until it came time to use that. And then I hit back a few times. The point being is that, yes, you want to prepare for the potential tragedy. And my mom's main thing was that she always said, I don't raise no sissies and I don't raise no punks. So she wanted us to be tough, independent thinkers, to the extent that, and I've said this on the show before, the last words that my father said to me, may he rest in peace, he said, I don't worry about you and Kevin, because one thing I know is that y'all gonna be all right. I know how we raised y'all. And whatever happens, y'all gonna be able to make it. And I remember thinking, why are we talking about this? But now I later understood why we were talking about that. That's an assumption. So his vibration was, these Wendy and Kevin are winners. That was his vibration. His vibration was, Lil John, walk Wendy to school because I need you to protect her. That was the vibration. That was the assumption. And so Lil John assumed the position. My brother and I are my brother Kevin and I are very close. So we assume the position of protector for one another. We're so precise and focused when it comes to our support and protection of one another that we don't even step in until the other one gives us permission, because we know, my brother already knows if I call my sister, it's going down. And I know if I call my brother, oh, it ain't gonna be nice. So we already know that about each other. So we understand that assumption. We understand that vibration, and then we move forward in that way. So, but a lot of times we misuse the law of assumption, which puts us in a reality loop. Let me give you a definition. Assumption is a thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen without proof, or the action of taking on power or responsibility. So when you're manifesting, you say you want something, you have to assume that is true. Okay? Create the vibration in your space here with your thoughts that it has already happened, and move into it, like move through it like it has already happened. But we don't do that. We do that with things that we don't want to happen. We don't want to get into a fight with our husband, but we're always in our head preparing for a fight with our husband. We don't want to get into a fight with our boss, but we're in our head having mock arguments with our boss. We don't want to. Here's a better example. You know, the wish creed, the wish syndrome. You know how some of us as Black people, we operate off, I wish it would. Some of that's an incorrect law of assumption. Some of that is. You know why? Because a lot of times when we say, some of us say that and then we leave it alone. But some of us say it and we're practicing in our head all the time, seeing ourselves. Whenever I've gotten angry and I saw myself doing something bad, if I knew I saw the picture of it in my mind's eye, I had to get myself out of the situation because I knew that all I had to do was walk into it and it would happen. Same thing with our business. If you see your business doing well and you are constantly visualizing yourself doing well in business, then all you got to do is just keep walking the walk. When I have silent moments, I'm constantly visualizing something. I'm visualizing the completion of the museum. I'm visualizing the completion of a business. Whatever I'm working on, I see myself there and I'm in it on a constant basis. And whenever I can't see myself, I stop and I allow myself to work through whatever barriers I'm having that's preventing me from seeing myself in that space. This is just practical ways of thinking that I want us to start practicing, because it's just this simple stuff that impacts us when it comes to opening up our businesses and being successful, because we can't see it. So one of the first exercises that I take my coaching clients on is we start describing the business. And I make you sit there and walk through what it's going to feel like when your cash register is flowing, people up there tapping their cards, or what it's going to feel like when you're signing that first contract, when you're walking into the business. What do you see? Are you getting, we do this exercise where you get off the elevator and you walk into your business and you see people working and you see people asking questions. You see customers there or clients there. If you're in medical school, we talk about seeing your first patients. What does that feel like? How are you going to flow through that with that? And so using that law of assumption to create a different mental loop than what it is that we are currently creating. Because what we're creating is that old reality loop where we keep regurgitating what happened to us in the past, and somebody sits us down and makes us constantly talk about it. Well, what happened? One of the things I cannot stand right now that we do all the time, I cannot stand when we make a person constantly regurgitate what they've been through in the past. And I cannot stand how we oftentimes are always diagnosing one another. We're so busy diagnosing one another that we forgot to help each other. We forgot to love on each other. We forgot to care for each other. And don't get me wrong, I totally respect that sometimes reality can be very scary. And so because we're in a state of fight or flight, sometimes I can see why you feel like you need to keep thinking about what happened or what could happen or what's around you, because you're worried that it's going to happen again, or what you're imagining is really going to happen. You're worried about that. And I get it. But you got to find a way to get a break, get a little space. Remember, your mind travels at the average rate of 24 billion miles per second. You just need a few seconds to give yourself a break, to think and visualize and see yourself with what you want, doing what you want, meeting your goals, opening your business, having your customers, signing that contract, getting the loan, whatever it is that you're working on. We got to spend time visualizing. And I know it's hard because sometimes the alternative are things that are unfathomable. But we got to start practicing using our mind. Yes, we have to strategize, but we got to have a balance with it. Part of the problem, what a lot of us do, we don't strategize. We sit up in this reality loop with these things in our head about what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened and what has happened. And then we believe in a spook God. And then we just hope it's going to work out. Well, let's increase our chances. Okay. Maybe you don't believe me that you can make it happen with your mind. Let's just say this. You can increase your chances if you start to think differently. You start to visualize yourself in that position, in that space. Just assume. Forget about all the law of attraction and cause and effect and all of that. Just assume that what you want has already happened and that it's going to happen. And just get in your fantasy world with it and spend time there. Spend some time on it. You washing dishes, see yourself in your new house. You cleaning up, visualize yourself with your new store open or your new online business or that degree that you always wanted. Visualize it and see it. Some of us, we get bad, and this is what happens. We get all positive and we get bad news. Let's say you flunk a test. Let's say you're in college and you get a professor who's really difficult and you're working on graduation and you done flunked a test. You may very well have an opportunity to take, let's say it's the first quarter, you got 3 more quarters. You can still pass and graduate. But sometimes we go so far on the trip, we flunked that test. And now we're thinking about the look on our parents' faces when we don't graduate. We're thinking about what excuses we're going to make. And this is a good one. We already got the excuse in our head about what we're going to say when we don't graduate. Or let's say you work in a job and you know they're getting ready to fire you. And instead of you spending your mental energy trying to get a new job and visualizing yourself in a new job, you're constantly focused on the moment they fire you, what you're going to tell your husband or wife when you get fired, what excuse you're going to tell your family and friends. You got all that laid out. You done strategically put everything together when you really could have, and you're going to walk through the reality because you already know it, when you really could have put that same strategy together to figure out what your next best move is. Okay, I know they're getting ready to fire me, but everything happens for a reason. I'm going to land in a better place. My next situation is going to be even better. I probably needed them to fire me because I wasn't going to leave. I might have been too afraid to go to that next situation. In the next situation, I'm going to have a person that I report to that's more respectful. I'm going to have a better environment. It's going to be more comfortable. I'm not going to be dealing with people around me who are ratchet or embarrassing or backbiters. I'm going to be in a healthy environment. It's going to be closer to home. I don't have a long commute. I'm going to make more money. It's going to be a stepping stone to me opening my business. It's going to be easier for me to plan out my business because I don't have to be so stressed out about what's going on in the office. I can go home and get more things done in the business. Instead of using that kind of mental strategy, you done went all the way down the line. You done start thinking about the fights you getting ready to have with your wife because you got fired. You thinking about being on unemployment. You thinking about what you gonna do if you lose your car and your house. You done went all the way down the line with all of this strategy when you ain't got fired yet, but you just know it in your head. And when you've done all of that kind of preparation, then you've really just set the tone, and it makes it easy for the universe to surround you with that reality. Let's see what you say, Brother King. Didn't get a job I wanted and got one better suited for me, more money and align with my purpose and make my own hours. Yeah, but you could have got in a reality loop, especially in this world. A lot of times we apply for a lot of jobs we don't get. We get a lot of no's sometimes when we're introducing a new product or service. They say Colonel Sanders got 1,000 no's. Well, most of us in Black America, we get 2,000, 3,000 no's. We're real used to no's. We could teach a class on how to overcome people telling us no. Most of us can be consultants on how to survive in this world. Literally. So we done heard the no's 1,001 times. But if you get in a reality loop and you just assume that every time you talk to somebody, they're going to tell you no, then that's 9 times out of 10 what's going to happen. But if you just decide, you know what? I know this opportunity, the right opportunity is out here for me. And I'm struggling between reality and what it is that I want. But I know, and I'm assuming that no matter what happens over here, I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get a better job. Like brother said, I'm going to make my own hours. I'm going to get it. It's going to happen. So the struggle between the reality loop and what you want is real. And so when somebody hits you with something that's real, I want you to come back from that conversation and go into your visualization. You may have to spend some time strategizing, but I don't want you to do your strategy until you come back and visualize what it is you actually really want. See, part of the problem, especially when you're dealing with financial issues, you get all this compound layering on top of it, okay? Because when you're trying to do anything related to money, there's a lot of vultures and a lot of people who are looking to prey on your downfall or your challenges. And so they're negative and they're making up reasons as to why something didn't happen. I had somebody tell me that, oh, well, you didn't get an opportunity that you wanted because you have a Muslim podcast. And I said, did they say that to you? Somebody said that to you? And the person, because I asked a question, they say, yeah. And then you have to think to yourself, are you serious? And just stop right there. Somebody tell you something like that. You don't stop doing what you're doing, especially when you know that you're helping people and you're doing something that's good. Speaking of myself, I said, for one, my podcast is about business and mental strategies. I happen to be a Muslim and I pray on my podcast because that's important to me. And I am a Muslim. And so I do use my teachings and infuse them into mindset strategies and mental strategies. And I infuse my teachings into the world of business. So because that's who I am. If I was a Catholic person and I was going to a Catholic church, I'd be doing the same thing. But this is who I am. So if you don't like me because I'm a Muslim, because you've made certain assumptions about me because I'm a Muslim, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry for you because we live in a diverse world. But at the end of the day, I got to do what I think is best and how I believe it's best to help people. And I don't spew hate. I'm not doing anything negative. And so I had to sit back and go, okay, boom, somebody hit you with a blow like that. And then I sit back and go, well, you know what? I visualize myself helping thousands more people, supporting thousands of more businesses, supporting thousands of more people to do for self and have a better life. I want to help thousands and thousands of people have more love in their life, have more happiness in their life, have more peace in their life, have more success in their life. That is what my goal is. And so that person who saw my podcast and had a problem with me because I'm Muslim, I can't deal with that reality loop. Even though it was connected to something that I'm in real pursuit of, something very, very important to me, I'm going to continue to pursue that. But I have to continue to focus on keeping my vibration at a very high level, because I doubt that this person even wanted to see the level of support that I'm giving to people who support me, but that I'm just giving out here to the world. So if they can't see that, I can't make their vibration part of a reality loop that I continue to feed on. I hope you guys see that. And that's oftentimes what we do. We get bad news. We go down and somebody calls us a nigger, the N word, I should say. People still do that. People get racist. We can't make that part of our reality loop. We got to deal with that and then come up out of it and go straight to our visualization. I know who I am. I am not a nigga. I am not that degrading person, that degraded term. I don't even treat people like that. I don't act niggardly. I don't conduct myself in that way. I am a high class, civilized person. And this is how I move through the world. I don't down people. I don't talk badly about people. I try to be as honest as I possibly can in every situation based on what it is, the information that I have. I try to be as high civilized as I possibly can. So you go back to that visualization, and that civilized visualization has a vibration. And then the nigger word that they called you has a vibration. Well, I'm not that. So I'm not even going to put that in my loop. Okay? And because my vibration is so high, yeah, if you mess with me, I got that. But I'm not even about to focus on that. I'm focusing on who I am and who I want to become. And I still have these reality goals and these reality requirements over here that I have to meet. But I can't allow the rejection in that reality to change me. Otherwise, it'll either break us down or maybe even kill us or cause disease. Because you can't control what you can't control. Okay? Some people are just who they are. And so you just have to keep trying. And so when something like that happens, I come back to my mental lab and I say, okay, Allah, there's another way. There's something else that you're doing, something else that you want from me, because I know who I am. And that's how we deal with the reality versus what we want. That's where people get stuck. They say, man, I do my visualizations. I wake up in the morning and do it. But when I hit work, I got a ticket. I got pulled over for no reason. I saw on television where they keep showing this videotape of this man kicking this girl in the hallway, and it's all over the place. When you turn on CNN released the video, and I keep getting triggered. You gotta come out of reality and give yourself some time. And you ain't gotta go somewhere and sit like some of us who meditate do. You don't have to go and do that. You can do it on your way home. You can take a walk. You can be cleaning. You can be washing dishes. You can meditate and put yourself in that state of mind at any point in time you want. If you go to the doctor and they tell you that you're sick, you can begin to take the precautions to heal yourself. But I want you to come back to your quiet spot and visualize yourself in good health. Visualize yourself being better. Visualize yourself and what it's going to feel like when you get that next round of tests and there's improvements. It may not go completely away by the time you get back there in 90 days and have your next test, but visualize some improvement and visualize yourself climbing that mountain and getting back and getting back and getting back to where it is that you want to go. I hope this helps, because reality and what we're hit with on a day-to-day basis The way people lie and the assumptions that they make, they just assume. So people will look at you and assume because you are Black or because you're a woman that you act a certain way. People assume because you're a Muslim that you don't like certain people or you got negativity towards certain people. It's just people have all kind of assumptions that you have to be careful don't become your reality. Their reality and their assumptions and what they're doing, even if they are an impactful person in your life, even if they impact a major goal that you're trying to reach, you got to come out of that and get back to your assumptions and your visualizations and your thoughts about yourself. Now you're human. So, you may have those days where reality hits you so hard that you say, you know what, I'm messed up today. And this is where your community comes in, your family, your friends. So that's why I encourage us when we're trying to be communal towards one another, allow a person to share with you what they're going through, and you can help them with the mental strategy. Maybe you can't help them get what they want, but you can help them with the mental strategy and help them get through it. So don't be so quick to be trivial in the conversation. Sometimes people just need a little mental support. Like, yeah, they just need to hear it. That's important. But reality is going to hit you in the face. But you got to come back to your visualization. You got to come back to your visualization. You can't get stuck in a reality loop. The world is going to give you what you give it first in terms of how you see it. So how you see the world is how the world is going to respond to you. If you see the world as a mean and evil place, then that's how you'll move through the world. If you see life as a struggle, that's how you'll move through life. Everything will be a struggle. If you see life as difficult, then that's how you'll move through the world. You know how, and I'll give you this last thing, you know how you see people who you like, man, I don't even know how they survived, what they've gone through. So I tell half of y'all, if y'all knew some of the stuff I got that I deal with, you'd be like, I couldn't even make it. But the key is to constantly come back to your visualization. Come back to it. And that's going to level set. That's going to level set your hormones. It's going to level set your cellular structure. It's going to level set your vibration and help it raise. You're going to settle yourself down a little bit, because sometimes when people hit you with stuff, your nerves start rattling. You start going into fight or flight. Like, what do I do? They're lying on me. They're treating me a certain way. They're making assumptions about me that's not true. And so you go into a little bit of panic. When you come back to your visualization, you settle yourself down a little bit. And then once you settle down, you allow that cork to rise again to the top. And now you can move forward with the rest of your day, with the rest of your plans. That's how we make sure that we tweak what happens to us in the world. And this is something very important for us to teach our children. Very important, because oftentimes children have a trauma that happens to them and they stay there. But if we start teaching them early, how to get out of that reality loop, it will really, really, really be helpful. But you got to go back to it. The world is hard. And I know we're all out there struggling. We're dealing with stuff. We don't know what to do. We go to church, we go to mosque, and we hear all this stuff. But it's hard because we're facing reality every single day. We're facing things that we have no solution for. It's hard. It's tough. Some of us have businesses and we only eat what we kill. We're not out here robbing and stealing from people. And so who we are and our reputation means everything to us, because we're not predators. There ain't no fast money, no drug money, ain't nothing like that over here. This is all about manifestation and being a good person and doing good business. And so if you're that person, you definitely got to learn. Like I'm saying to you, go back to yourself and get yourself together. Get your heart right again. Because sometimes you feel that little wound, that little stab in your heart. You got to go somewhere and breathe through it and settle down. And it's okay. It's okay if you're struggling with that. Some of us, especially those of us in really strong spiritual circles, we may be having challenges with our children, and we're embarrassed to talk about it. We don't know what to do. Keep visualizing, keep working at it, but keep your visualization strong. Keep it making it very vivid. Come right back to it. When the world hits you, come back to who you are. World knocks you down, stay with who you are, and keep taking time to talk to yourself. All right, was that a sign that I need to make a pivot? Is that a sign that I just need to be stronger? Is that a sign that I'm going in the wrong direction? Or is it just really a test of my strength, test of my faith? Have those conversations with yourself. Have those conversations with God. And say, God, this is how I see myself. This is who I know I am. And you know that I'm going to do right by whatever situation you give me. Have that conversation. It's okay. It's all right. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Sister Felicia said, thank you for the words, but I have to go into the classroom with God. Yes, ma'am. That's exactly right. We try to get this done before the sisters have to go into class. You get attacked for no reason. Silence is power, but these people keep coming at me constantly in the workplace. Well, sometimes you just got to figure out what moves you need to make in order to back them up off of you, but understand who you are. Okay? Understand who you are and operate from that place. And so hopefully, Sister Felicia, you come back and listen to that. Brother King says, teach. Sister Cynthia says 100. Okay. She says she needed to hear this. Yes. Praise be to Allah. And brother talked about his job. Okay. Y'all, any questions, any comments on that subject? I know it can be a little, Sister Sandra said, calm down and carry on. Thank you, because I used to be reactionary, but not so much now. Yeah. Sometimes people will force you to be reactionary. They may hit you so hard that if you don't hit back, you make yourself a victim. So sometimes you do have to react. I'm not saying that you don't I'm not talking about turning the other cheek. But what I'm talking about is just always knowing who you are. Because sometimes when you're dealing with savages, you got to put a ring of fire around yourself. And that means you might have to pop them to back them up off of you. But you got to keep that ring of fire around yourself, because the savages don't understand nothing but that fire. They scared of fire. So you got to figure out what the fire is. Fire is figurative, but you got to figure out what the fire is that's going to back them up off of you. Yes, you're right. Timestamp Army. Stay in the question lane. Keep asking questions. Keep posing questions to the universe. What is my next best move? This is how I feel right now, and this is how I think I should react. Keep posing that. Keep having those conversations. Keep expressing that, and stay out of that reality loop. Because if you get in that reality loop and you got people bullying you at work, you're going to be in it. And next thing you know, you're going to be just as guilty as them. All right, y'all. If there's nothing, if y'all don't have no questions, no comments, I think we got that subject out. What y'all think? Let me know in the chat. Give me some feedback. I see y'all popping and talking. Okay. Y'all know, per usual, if you want to book me, go to booksajdahwendymuhammad.com. Whether it's a speaking engagement, coaching, consulting client, if you want me to help you build a business, work on a project. I don't work for free, y'all. So I just want y'all to know that I give away the free game, but I can't build your business for you for free. I can't expend time. And here's the thing. Business for me is very easy. And so oftentimes as I'm doing other things, I can think through on how to build your business. And so a lot of times when you ask me a question, I can respond so thoroughly and so quickly that it makes it seem like it's easy. And people just go, well, okay, can you just do it for me for free? But I don't work for free. This is my job. Okay. So while it can be in many cases easy for me, I can't do it for you for free. And I can't per se partner with you and put in 100% of my time if you don't really have a business yet or anything for me to partner with. So as we're building your business and putting things together, you have to pay me because that's what I do for a living. And then once we get the business up and off the ground, I've had situations like this. We went into a partnership because there's revenue there, and we work the business together and share the revenue based on whatever split we decide upon. Okay. So if you want to book me for a consultation, if you pay for one session, I give you one for free. I appreciate each and every one of you for Brother King saying, I thank you so much for saying that. But a lot of people do think that. I appreciate all the love offerings. I really appreciate it. You might think it's just $10, $20, $100 or $1,000. You may think, okay, this is nothing, but it makes a difference. Helps to pay for the platform, these little things going across the bottom, and all of this stuff that we're doing is not free. And I am working on bringing a more produced show to us, and I'm working on a very special series that is probably going to come out late summer, early fall. It's going to be a 15-week, basically a course. And at the end of the course, you're going to get a certificate. But so we're building and working on that now. And it is the precursor to the book, the new book that inshallah will be out at the beginning of the year. So I'm not giving any names. I'm not saying what it is, because what people do is they look at stuff and then they try to beat you to the punch. You know, they go out, and then if I say the new show is called the Sajdah Show, then they'll have a new show or something with their name. So we live in a world where people copy. Most people aren't creative. I pride myself on being authentic and using my own creativity and what the universe gives to me. But everybody is not like that. So that's why I'm not saying a lot. With the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, we are creeping towards the finish, so we need your continued support. A lot of you have written me asking for a sponsorship package, but we haven't really gotten any. You guys asked for the package, but we haven't really gotten any. And we have different prices, right? We got smaller packages that go all the way up to larger packages. Coins, that it really helps if you guys purchase these coins. Let me tell you something. I never would have imagined that 3 years later we'd still be trying to finish up selling these coins. I'm just different. I look at these teachings as life-changing. They have helped me in business. They have made me be so very successful. They've helped me to win a lot of battles. They've helped me to just really elevate as a person and understand the power of how to conduct myself, how to treat people. I've been blessed with friendships in all walks of life, different races, different creeds, different backgrounds of people have become my friends as a result of this teaching. And so for me, it's very easy to support. But I realize that it's not that easy for a lot of other people. Okay. All right, family. Love you all very much. Thank you, Keen. Thank you so much. Good. May Allah bless you on your post. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that has to go. I appreciate it. And I know I talked a little over today, and it was a little bit of a wide range of a conversation, but I pray that you all got something out of it. Okay, so send your love offerings. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Love offerings, Cash App, $ Sajdah Enterprises. And we're going to just keep flowing. We're going to keep flowing with everything that we're doing. And ask Allah to continue to bless us with everything that we're going through and growing through. Okay, a lot of us got tough realities that we're facing, but be it the will of Allah, we will be the winners in the end. Peace and blessings, family.